producers of The Tomorrow People. Executive producer Greg Berlanti, Peyton List, Robbie Amell, Mark Pellegrino, executive producer Danny Cannon, and executive producer Bill Clemmer. How's it going, guys?
I don't know where to sit.
Well, that was so great. I think everybody here really enjoyed what we just saw. Greg, I want to start off with you. How did you get inspired to bring The Tomorrow People back to life? It was originally a British series.
Yeah, it was. I watched the show in the 80s. I watched the reruns of the 70s version of the show and was a tremendous fan of it, and used to watch it. It was on every day that we run it, Nickelodeon would. And sort of like first binge watching kind of thing. You'd watch them in a run. And for a while I wasn't even sure what I had watched because this was long before DVR and even probably VCR. And I got to college and I met Julie Plec in college, and this was one of the first shows we would talk about. And for years it's been a dream to bring it back, and starting about 7 years ago, we started pursuing the rights. And finally this year we were lucky enough to get them, and we brought Phil on board as well, and together we hatched the story for the pilot.
Very cool. So how inspired is this one going to be by the original?
I think hopefully in its in its essence. I think that same sort of belief. What attracted me probably the most to it when I was a kid was just that sense of, oh, you're not just different or a freak. You're actually special. And that was the belief that like these kids were actually the next step in evolution. And so that in its bones, obviously we have the 3 T's. We have Tim. Voiced actually, as you heard today, by Danny Cannon, our director. And Roger Price, the creator, saw our version of the pilot and was very happy and had some nice things to say. So we hope to keep drawing on the original, but always really kind of make it our own.
Mm-hmm. Tell me about bringing this cast together. Was this Emma Winston like part of a master plan or something? Because that's awesome.
Yeah, no, I really want to get invited to the Amell family picnic once a year. That's my goal.
So do we all.
There's no shirts allowed. Anyway, so no, I knew Robbie before I knew Steven, and he had done an episode of a show I did called Brothers and Sisters, and so this is what you come to Comic-Con to celebrate, Brothers and Sisters. Anyway, so we stayed in touch, and he came in and blew us away. In fact, every actor on this stage was really at the end of the day, our first choice to play that role. And it was one of those just blessed experiences to bring everybody together.
Mm-hmm. Robbie, I wanna toss this to you because when I was watching the pilot, I was really stunned by the ending because it took a totally different twist than what I was expecting. Tell me about the first time that you read how they were going to approach his storyline, Steven's storyline.
Yeah, it was great because it surprised you. It surprised me. I think it surprises 90 to 100% of the people that watch it. And it's nice. You don't want to see everything that's coming. You don't want to expect everything. So Phil and Danny and Greg and all of our writers' room and Julie, we're shooting episode 102 and we've read 103, and the surprises keep coming. I got blindsided by another one in 103.
Interesting. Do you want to give me a little info on the twist, or what surprise?
I can't tell you anything.
Peyton, I was really into Kara. I thought she was cool. But what do you know so far about like her backstory and what we're going to be learning in the episodes that follow? It kind of left that a little enigmatic in the pilot.
Yeah, I mean, when we meet the Tomorrow People, it's not at the very beginning. They clearly have backstories. We just already know them as being in control of their powers. And I think we're going to explore Kara and John and all the other characters on how they got to the place where we meet them in the pilot.
Mm-hmm. I want to know what was going on between her and John. Can you tease a little bit about their history or say anything about what was going on there?
Well, they definitely have a romance, but what Peyton was just saying is true. Each of the episodes that we do, especially over the first 6 or 7, we will tell a sort of a mini story of how each of our primary characters first broke out. And so you'll learn about where they come from, and hopefully with each of them there'll be some significant surprise or something that really is interesting and makes you want to keep watching.
In the first season, they mentioned that he was one of 14 others. Are we going to learn about all 14 in the first season, or is that something that might have to be split up?
You will meet other individuals that live with them in the subway tunnels.
Very cool. Mark, I think everyone here. That you've done on a ton of shows, always as a bad guy. You're so good at playing bad. What was it about this particular villain that really intrigued you?
Intrigued me? Oh, Jedediah's passion and his dedication to his purpose, which is to kill the Tomorrow People. And he's very efficient at it. And I'd want Jedediah to get my back. I'd want him on my side, to be honest with you. He's a soldier and intellectual, and those qualities appeal to me. And he's not a bad guy.
But I loved how we connected him to Steven's dad, because that really, like you said, kind of made him not a bad guy. Like he had a really almost noble purpose, like wanting to learn about his brother a little bit.
Indeed, yes. He did have a noble purpose, and continues to have a noble purpose, I swear. It started out with the desire to help his brother.
To the producers, how much are we going to, now that Steven has this job with Ultra, how much time are we going to spend with him in actual high school? And is that still going to be part of the fold? Because I love that stuff. Like seeing him do that to the bully was really cool.
Exactly. I mean, that was part of the reason there was a surprise twist at the end. Because, part of us love the idea of a runaway fantasy, like the idea that there's this group of people just like you are ready to welcome you with open arms. But if that was the end of the show, that's the end of the conflict. And for us, the dramatic engine is the fact that this kid is trying to live in two worlds and to try to maintain his responsibilities to two species. And as much as I love superheroes, I like superheroes who have to go through their regular day. Dealing with the humiliations and failures and to be an underdog, but remain secretly a hero. I mean, that's kind of how we all go through our lives, I think. At least when we're adolescents, but some of us, when we're 40.
So this Ultra thing is going to be like the coolest part-time job ever, I think.
Coolest and most dangerous.
Well, that's true. We're going to take some fan questions in a little bit, so if anybody has a question, I think we might have a mic around, or... Yes, we have, yes. So we'll go ahead and toss it to the fans, because I'm sure y'all are...
Don't be shy.
All right, y'all want to kick off with this question?
Hi. I pretty much spent junior high school waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning to watch it on Nickelodeon too.
Awesome.
Saw the shout out, I hope it was a shout out, a poster on the wall of London, I think might be a reference to the original